Welcome in, guys, to episode number 38 of the Advisor Odyssey podcast. Now, today, we're actually coming at you with a new type of episode here. We have a new theme for this month. So for February, we are rolling with the client experience. So starting at the very beginning here, this episode is hitting on what your ideal client profile is. Who does your ideal client look like, seem like, talk like, sound like? All of it. Stay tuned. We got a good episode that I think will create an amazing opportunity for you over the next couple of weeks to dig into not only understanding your clients better, but finding more clients just like them.
This is the Advisor Odyssey audio experience, where financial advisors, planners, insurance agents, and brokers will find fresh new ideas and perspectives around what it takes to launch, succeed, scale, and bulletproof their business.
What's up, guys? If you're enjoying all this great content, be sure to check out our other content platforms for more and different types of content all around ways that you can become a better advisor. Things like marketing, sales process development, client experience. Maybe it's managing your team and your advisors better. Lead, like whatever it is, be sure to check out our social media profiles. You can find us at Advisor Odyssey across most every single platform that you're likely using. If you're looking for some more in-depth written out articles and blog posts, you can find that both on Medium by searching again at Advisor Odyssey, and then also on LinkedIn on my personal page, Daniel Hodajak. It's on these social media platforms where you can send in your questions, your feedback, your thoughts, and then I will then take that, formulate it, and I will try to create, maybe it's an entire podcast episode, another post that's specifically designed to help you answer the question that you are sending in. Again, that can be a direct message, it can be an email. Whatever it is, feel free, ask the question. I'll give you my best insight, and then hopefully it can make a huge difference in your business. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the episode. When it comes to figuring out your ideal client profile, there's a couple elements to this. So there's 3 steps, and then there's a then what situation. So we're going to talk through those 3 steps first. Step number 1 is to organize your CRM and lay out all the details on your clients. Now, hopefully you've had this from your old, maybe it's fact finders, or if they were like a really old client and you don't have the fact finders anymore, you still just naturally kind of know this information. But you want to find things and like literally create an Excel doc if possible and just like log all this information. Add the filter bar at the top so you can sort it and like segment it out as such. But you want to create a spreadsheet and store the information that will house what your clients right now. You want to know their ages. You want to know their family status, like their family situation. Are they married? Are they divorced? Are they widowed? Are they single? You want to know their career and occupation. And then you also want to know their job industry and field. So those are 2 separate categories: career/occupation, job field/industry. If you, and to be clear on that, they might be, a nurse practitioner, but that's in the medical field, right? They might be a high school teacher, but that is in the teaching field. So make sure you separate those, but still log that information. You want to know their investable net worth, their investable assets or their net worth. And that was at the time of when they first started working with you, or you first sat down to meet with them, not afterwards. You want to know their political affiliations. You want to know their religious affiliations. You want to know any of like the charities or the causes or philanthropies they're close to. Jot that down. And with this one, I would just do the main cause or charity. I wouldn't try to add like a list. You're going to want to write down maybe 1 or 2 of their hobbies. And again, separate boxes for this. Hobby number 1 might be traveling. Hobby number 2 might be golf. You're going to want also have a cell on that spreadsheet that says what their retirement dream is. And again, find terms that you can easily like duplicate and would apply to multiple people. So maybe that's dream vacation, or maybe that's Italy, or maybe that's, rental house, or like, whatever it is, like find a couple common terms and just use that so you can go in there and label and tag and sort that later. Then a big one that you really want to make sure you're logging, and this will hit on the, after we get through these first 3 steps, this will be the what comes next piece, but you want to make sure that you are like saving and storing and logging from what source, we'll call it. Okay, so from where did this person come from? Like when they scheduled that appointment with you, that first appointment, were they a referral? Did they schedule it off your website? Did they attend one of your events? Like, make sure you log that first interaction with you that caused them to set the first appointment. If they were a prospect at one point, let's say they attended an event of yours, and then they scheduled that appointment. They showed up to the appointment. They had a first meeting, but then they fell off for 2 years, and then they scheduled another first appointment with you. Log the time that it was successful. Log the successful first time. But again, that's step one. Just build a little spreadsheet that has all that data. Very easy to create. Don't spend too much time making it pretty or fancy. Build that spreadsheet. And on the ages too, don't worry about the decimals or like 70 and a half. Just the true age when they first joined your firm. And then also separate it out, not by couple, but by individual. If it's a married couple, John and Susie, let's call it, you have John, then you have Susie separate. Do not just do like the Smiths. Step number 2 is we want to look for patterns and commonalities. So if you did this right, you should be able to look at like all of your, let's say you're looking at that spreadsheet right now. You've got your client ages. You should be able to go in there and find the average age, highlight all the cells, and then it should give you the average. That, again, kind of putting 2 and 2 together, that'll tell you the average age of your client when they first join your firm. Then, again, find your average investable net worth, okay, or just investable assets. That is what you want to also find the average for. And if everything goes smooth, you should have on that database, on that spreadsheet, you should be able to tell me or tell anyone if they ask you what your average age of your client is when they first meet with you and what their average investable assets are or net worth. Now, if you tend to work with some really high net worth individuals, it would make a lot of sense to separate investable assets from net worth as well. But if you're really not working with a ton of people that are over, call it $1 million of net worth, I wouldn't mess with it. Now, on that same spreadsheet, you're not going to find the average of this, but you're going to want to find your most common ones. So this is where, again, you drop that filter down. You just sort it out as such. Find your most common career or occupation. Find your most common industry job field. Find your most common political affiliations, religious affiliations, hobbies, charities, causes, philanthropies. Find the most common ones, okay? Now, after you've got all that, you can, I mean, if you're pretty tech savvy, you can build like a pivot table out to do this. For me, I'm not super tech savvy, nor do I whatever claim to be. I would just go and write it down on a whiteboard or piece of paper, but I would look to see who do I have the most common? Like, do I tend to have, of my 100 clients, are 65 of them or 70 of them? Do they happen to all be like conservative political affiliation? Do 80 of them happen to be like their hobbies always have to do something with like physical activity, like whether it's golf or hiking or biking? Like, that's what you want to find, right? So that's step 2. Look for some patterns and look for some commonalities. Now here's step 3. Make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, please take a minute and check out the link in the description here to subscribe to my weekly newsletter called The Weekly Voyage, where we are featuring, we're highlighting an article that just came out the week prior. We're featuring the podcast episode if you haven't seen it yet. Plus, we're sharing a multiple of 2, 3, sometimes 4 brand new ideas that have not yet been shared that can only help you grow your business and build the practice of your dreams. Now, again, the link is in the description. It is called the Weekly Voyage Newsletter, and it is on LinkedIn and through LinkedIn's newsletter platform. Now, here's step 3. Create your avatar client profile by strictly following what the data is telling you. You will have an ideal client profile for male and an ideal client profile for female, assuming you have both male and female clients. Now, you might find things that you had no idea about. You might discover new things. There's an advisor. I've told the story a couple times in podcasts and in some of my content. This advisor is a great friend of mine. But he, for a long time, thought that most of his clients, he always thought that he appealed to government employees. He thought, I just happen to work with a lot of government employees. That's my niche. That's the people I work with. That's the people I serve. He realized that that was not the case. The government niche employees happened to be the the clients of his that were just really like active. They engaged with him a lot. They were communicative. They were not needy, but they would ask for many things. So they were always top of mind for him. The clients that he didn't always have interaction with, and for some of you might want that interaction. For a lot of you, you prefer not, right? We want to have the easy relationships when it makes sense. He didn't realize that almost the number, if I remember right, was about 68% of his client base was actually public school teachers that were all, and they were middle and high school public school teachers that all came from one or two different districts within his area. So meanwhile, he's like spending all this money trying to market and advertise to these government employees. His actual like avatar client, the ones that he happens to work the most with, which also means he's converting them at the highest rate, were middle school and high school public school teachers. Talk about a curveball there. So this data can reveal that to us. So that's why we want to create our most typical client profiles. But here's what happens afterwards. Those are the first 3 steps, but here's what you can do with that data. And this is endless, by the way. So I'm just going to give a few examples. If you know, for example, that's your average client profile, again, I'm making this up, but maybe your average male client profile is 62 years old when they join your firm. They have $700,000 of investable assets. Their net worth is typically around $1 million. They tend to, like their hobbies, they tend to golf all the time. And they also tend to, let's say they tend to be avid football fans. So they always watch football games, whether it's college, pro, and maybe even high school. They also happen to work in like occupational industries that would require them to be behind a desk all the time. So they had, I don't say desk job, but maybe they were, an accountant, or maybe they were an analyst, or something like that. Now that you know that information, you can now go to your marketing calendar, your marketing plan, and you should build out specific marketing efforts to target that demographic, because you apparently resonate really well with it, whether you know it or not. Host an upcoming golf event, host a golf tournament, a fundraiser, not a fundraiser, a client event, like you would host it as a fundraiser, the same setup. Have your clients, like give them all a free ticket, have them invite people to this event. Encourage them to invite some of their older coworkers, or maybe their current coworkers. Let them know it's going to be a fun event, lots of games, lots of fun, lots of food, like whatever it is, have them come. Now, yes, it's a client event. You should convert at a pretty high rate those prospects, but you're also targeting your ideal client profile. Birds of a feather flock together. You're going to be in a better situation to succeed. And now it's because of that, and again, endless examples here, but it's because of that, we know the data, we know what our typical client looks like. We know what our avatar clients look like. So while we may think that we want to seek out a certain type of client, when the data shows us that our average client, our majority client base fits a certain mold or within a couple certain molds, it makes more sense to spend our resources marketing to that mold, because we've got the proof we convert, instead of marketing to a brand new type of client, build a new mold, a new whatever. Like, that's not the smartest way to spend our money here. And so it's because of that we want to dig in and find our avatar client. We want to build our typical client profile, not just for the client experience sake, but also for the marketing sake. So again, guys, that's our big focus this month, is our client experience. It all starts with the client profile.
We hope you enjoyed the Advisor Odyssey audio experience. Connect with us on your favorite social media platforms at Advisor Odyssey. You can find our full-length educational videos to watch on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out all our articles and publications on medium.com/Advisor Odyssey. The Advisor Odyssey podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The contents and opinions shared, expressed, or otherwise alluded to on the Advisor Odyssey podcast and audio experience are solely ideas and not to be depicted as tax, legal, or investment advice. Results from the use of these concepts may not be representative of the experience of all financial professionals and are no guarantee of future success. Your results may vary. The Advisor Odyssey and its affiliated members are not to be held liable or responsible for any lawful recourse or punishment invoked upon the individual or accompanying business partners or team members. Federal law, state law, and/or insurance carrier requirements may prohibit or place limitations on any of the ideas and activities expressed. All advisors, planners, wholesalers, affiliated reps, and investment advisors should be aware of any limitations imposed by federal regulation, state regulation, insurance carriers, broker-dealers, and registered investment advisors as applicable. Investment advisors are strongly encouraged to obtain pre-approval from the broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, insurance company, or similar institution with which they may be affiliated.